Well, after the highs of last night's dramatic transfer of Raheem Sterling, the optimism that came with it, Arsenal hit a bump in the road with that home draw against Brighton as their winning start to the season comes to an end. A game that clearly turned on that second yellow for Declan Rice. Ian, how do you reflect on that game after 90 minutes?
Well, I think after the first half, you have to say Arsenal were very much in control. You can hear Andy Townsend was saying how disappointed he was with Brighton in the first half, but obviously Arsenal should have scored a couple more maybe in the first half. But then the second half, after the sending off, Brighton made some very good substitutions because they got the players to do it. And they went for the game. And I think that Arsenal now, especially see the fans booing at the end there, obviously disappointed with the referee, that is a good point now. That's a good point. Listen, Declan will look back at that, and I'm sure that Declan will be the first one. We know what he's about. He'll probably apologise for that, but it changed the game. It turned the game. Can
you understand the fans' frustrations there, clearly because of the red card?
I think it's. I think that when you watch that game, you probably they're not happy with the referee. That's what it is.
But was it the right call for you?
I think that the referee probably made all the right calls because he went by the book with the calls that he made. I think that Arsenal fans are probably thinking not a lot went in our way, the way he refereed the game. But at the same time, you know, the first half for me was the one where maybe you realise now where you've got to take advantage of these situations.
Yeah, I just think potentially that's why the fans are booing maybe, because I don't think they've maybe seen the little touch from Declan when he kind of being a bit cheeky, kicking the ball away. And
because at first they thought he was the one that was fouled.
Exactly, I thought it when I first seen it. So maybe it's one of those. But I think on the whole, yes, Arsenal weren't at their best in that second half, and the red card probably changed it. But in those type of scenarios, the most important thing is you don't get beat. You still leave the Emirates with something. They've managed to do that. They weathered the storm. I still think Brighton didn't take maybe full advantage of the fact they went. There was 11 versus 10. Didn't really create enough opportunities. But for Arsenal, it's I'd say it's a point gained.
Point apiece then, in the end, between two sides who see their 100% starts to the season come to an end. So that draw at the Emirates kicks off what is a busy 7-game Saturday. Ivan Toney's at the G-Tech, by the way, despite sealing his £40 million move to the Middle East. Brentford taking on a so far pointless Southampton. Everton similarly losing their first 2 games of the season. They face Bournemouth. Ipswich at home to Fulham. Winless Leicester hosts Villa in what is a Midlands derby in our feature match on Goal Rush. Elsewhere, Nuno Espirito Santo welcomes former club Wolves to the City ground. And the late game sees West Ham up against the defending champions Manchester City. 3 games on Sunday, Chelsea Palace, Newcastle Tottenham. And that huge fixture at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Liverpool. As a result of that point in North London for both sides at the Emirates, Brighton go top on goals scored ahead of Arsenal. Manchester City, though, can end the day at the summit. They go to West Ham, as I mentioned, later on today. Liverpool go to United tomorrow.
That game had a little bit of everything. How satisfied are you as a team to come away with a point from the Emirates?
So. Yeah, from obviously being in a difficult position, I've got to look at myself on the first goal, and we bounced back from that, and then the 10 men makes a difference for us. But in the end, we didn't create enough chances when they went down to 10. And yeah, in the end, it's a good point. Emirates is a tough place to come. So yeah.
Imagine you're disappointed in the role you played with the goal that Arsenal scored in that first half. Is that something that then plays on your mind for the rest of the game?
No, maybe when I was younger, but now you make mistakes in football, and everyone makes them, and it's how you react to the mistakes. And you just got to try and forget about it. And yeah, but it was nice to set one up in the other end. So yeah, at least I bounced back a little bit.
Yeah, you made up for it with that brilliant ball up to Minter. That must have been a good feeling.
Yeah, the way we want to play is quite forward and vertical now, and yeah, we got quick forwards that we can make passes to. So yeah, it was nice for one to come off.
We saw in the game at home last week that the manager brought more attackers on, and you managed to get that stoppage time winner last week. Similar again here today. It almost seemed like he wasn't satisfied just to come away with a point. Yes,
when they go down to 10 men, but we didn't create enough chances when they went down to 10 men, and we probably tried the difficult thing too many times, and we didn't get wide areas and get the overloads. And yeah, but we go away now and look at it.
Well, you go into this first international break unbeaten still as a team. Has this start to the season gone better than you've expected under the new manager?
Maybe, but yeah, we always believe we can win any game of football. We've got ourselves in a real good position, made some good signings. Yeah, we're in a good place at the moment, and yeah, we go into every game trying to win. So I mean, we can beat everyone.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Cheers, Jules. Thank you. Cheers.
Jules Breach talking to Lewis Dunk. Interesting first answer to that question when asked if he's happy with that point. So. I mean, they asked many questions of Arsenal in that second half. They were much better than the first 45.
They were, but I still don't think they asked them enough questions. I mean, when they go down to 10 men, Arsenal, and they still had a large chunk of that second half, they didn't really create too many clear-cut chances. I mean, Ayari come on, and if he gets his head up, he has a better shot on goal. But in terms of really hurting Arsenal, making them defend, I don't think they really did that. So that's probably why he says so-so, because when you get, 35, 40 minutes with 10 men, 11 versus 10, you've got to keep attacking, keep asking them questions, keep making them defend, and eventually you hope they get tired. But I just don't think they did enough.
Ian, I know, in the end, almost your overriding sense is one of relief of getting a point at the end.
Yeah, you have to feel that because, like I say, it's going to be a long season. There's games I thought that we played last season and before where, Arsenal should have recognised at a stage, right, you know what, OK, it's not going for us. Let's just make sure we get what we get in and not lose this game. We lost games like that before at Arsenal. So I think you've got to take the point. I still do believe that, Declan will probably look at the two yellows and be a bit disappointed. But at the same time, when you look at the referee and some of the decisions he made, you know what I mean? I think this referee's got main character energy anyway. But at the same time, when people are kicking the ball away in the first half and you're not booking, and then you kind of do feel a little bit aggrieved by that. So this is why I think that everybody was so upset. That challenge, yes, you look at it and you feel there's no studs showing. No. It's one of those challenges, a genuine attempt for the ball, but no, you get booked for that. And then obviously, again with this one, with everything that's going on, Declan here, we know what he's doing here. But you look at Veltman and what he's doing there. Veltman is trying to get him booked. Veltman's got no one to pass this ball to, right? He's got he knows he's there. Look, he's got no one to pass it to. He's not even looking at the ball. Veltman knows exactly what he's doing there. And those are the things as well what the VAR have to look at. He knows what he's doing. He's trying to get him booked and sent off.
Ian, but does Declan Rice have to kick the ball?
No, Declan Rice doesn't have to kick the ball. But at the same time, Declan is playing the game, but so is Veltman. So you can recognise what Declan's doing, but then we're not supposed to recognise what Veltman's doing. He's not actually trying to pass that to anyone. He's not looking at the ball. He's acting like he's going to do it so that if it hits Declan, Declan gets booked, Declan's off, and that's what happened.
But this is what was made clear to all 20 Premier League sides, from the referees and the assistants, is you have to retreat and you can't get involved in a set piece in the way that he did.
Right.
So for not retreating, no, he knew this, and you can almost see the way Chris Kavanagh almost apologetically gave that second yellow. It was all you could see the look in his face, which was to say, look, you all know this rule now this season.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen.
You can see him doing that. But then if we're going to be doing stuff like that and people kicking the ball away, then do that in the first half to João Pedro. Book him, the ball went out of play and he still blasted the ball away. Then do that as well. I don't care about apologetic face and that. Just if you're going to play it by the rule, which I thought he done today, I thought he done everything you think, well, yeah, he's got to probably do that. Then do it properly all the way through the game. That's why the Arsenal fans got the hump today.
Darren?
Consistency. I think that's all Wright is alluding to there, is that if you are going to send Declan Rice off, and Declan Rice will look back at that and go, I've made a mistake here, although Veltman wasn't playing the ball. But if you see these instances in the first half and you do nothing about it, then you're going to expect criticism, because all people want with VAR, there's no issue with VAR, it's just consistency across the board. So not one decision is different to another decision if they're both kicking the ball away. And I think that's where the Arsenal fans certainly today are getting angry, because they're like, well, hold on, we've seen that first half, but then you couldn't wait to get the second yellow out for Declan.
But saying that with the Arsenal fans as well, I think you can hear in the stadium there's a little bit of impatience in respect of attacking them. You've got to recognise, like I say, sometime in the game where you think we've got to get a point. We've got to make sure we get a point.
Keep hold of what you've got.
Absolutely. They made some very good substitutions in Enciso, Adringa coming on, very dangerous players. Pedro already on there, causing problems. So you want to make sure you don't lose the game. And that is why I thought in the end the point is a very, very good point. You have to take it.
There's no doubt that red card for Declan Rice turned the game on its head. 7 minutes later, Brighton fully capitalised.
Yeah, and again, Lewis Dunk, really good play. I mean, no pressure on the ball, so he should drop. But it's a really good run from Minter, good pace. I mean, to be fair, Gabriel could have brought him down there and there could have been even more trouble. But it was a really good pass. But again, they don't drop because there's no pressure on the ball, and Arsenal just don't drop. And the gap between the two centre-halves is way too wide. I mean, and he manages to play it in behind both of them. They almost cross over. But again, it's a really good run from Minter, good penetration through the middle. And João Pedro doing what all good centre-forwards should do.
But the thing is, you look at that as well, and when you look at that in the play from there, you look at Thomas Partey, he's literally run past him.
Yeah.
Right, so Thomas Partey also has to recognise that in that instant, he has to go all the way with Pedro. At least make a challenge of him. Pedro just blasts past him and he's kind of jogging back. Those are the things that when you look back at that, you'll say, well, that could have been avoided. Maybe you could have put more pressure on Lewis Dunk. You know, he's got the capability. Put more pressure on that, cut that angle off for him, and I think Partey's got to cover Pedro.
Welcome back. So the battle between the two unbeaten sides so far at half-time sees that Arsenal with a 1-0 advantage over Brighton, and Arsenal punishing Brighton with a mistake at the back really clinically. Yes, they did, but they've the way they've started, the closing down energy of Arsenal has been very good. I think Ødegaard's been a little bit off with his play at the minute. But like in respect to what Arsenal are doing, yeah, it's exactly what I thought they'd do. They put him under pressure. That high line obviously has caused them a problem. But yeah, I was hoping that Arsenal would score because they do need to score in those moments. And I thought it was taking too long, especially with a couple of chances missed. And what about the way Havertz took it? Well, it was. I had no doubt. I can't understand that Lewis Dunk is not going to challenge that simply because he's the bigger man. But like that was just calm and collective. A striker that has got pure confidence in his ability to just lift that over the keeper. Poor from Lewis Dunk. But then from here, I knew there's no way Kai Havertz is missing. Goalkeeper was committed. He could have even went round him. As you see, just before he shoots, the goalkeeper jumps off the ground just before he shoots. Watch the keeper's off the ground now. Could have knocked it round him and scored. But like, I'm just pleased to see that goal because they needed to score that. Interestingly, Kai Havertz's 31st goal in the Premier League, but his first from outside the box.
Wow, I mean, incredible. I mean, he showed composure there, because that's one thing you'd have to say that he probably lacked when he first came. But I don't know if he lacked it or it was confidence when he first got to Arsenal because of what happened at Chelsea. But since he's obviously understood and realised that he is one of Mikel Arteta's main men and how much he trusts him, every single time he gets into these positions, because that's right, he said there, great play from Saka, there's a number of options here. Go round him, do you know what I mean? Go for his legs, go over the top of him.
You're right, D.
It's all confidence, but I think he's been really good this first half.
Should Dunk be done by one of the smallest players on the pitch?
No way. We're talking about an England international, very experienced player. That ball's in the air for a long time. He's just got to go and head that. Yeah. Clean everything out, head that. It's poor play from him.
Do you know what? I thought there was a lack of communications, but I do think, as Wright said there, when you're Lewis Dunk and you're that experienced, you're an international, just go and deal with the situation.
No, look, it's fair to say everybody knows you'll welcome an Arsenal win, but you've been frustrated by the way Brighton have gone about defending with that high line, but also the way their forwards have operated.
Well, when you look at where the ball is now, you've got no Brighton player within, 5 yards of him. Look how much time and space he's got. Look at that. And look at where the line is. Saka could get in. Havertz can get in. Trossard could get in. This is I can't understand how Arsenal are not just knocking it over there all the time.
I do wonder as well, Martinelli, one of his strengths are running in behind. Yeah. But I think, surely, even as a team, at that Brighton, it's almost like when you do the coaching, if there's no pressure on the ball, everyone drops 10 yards, 20 yards, so that space can't go in behind. Yeah. So if anything, Arsenal have almost let Brighton off the hook by not playing more of those balls, because I'm sure Martinelli's strengths, and I'm sure we'll see him in the second half, one of his strengths, and Sterling further down the line. If teams continue to play that high line, we'll see Arsenal more and more just clipping it over the top, and it's not even a difficult pass.
One feature behind Arsenal's strong first 15 minutes was the way they found so much joy down the right, and Saka in particular.
Yeah, Hinchelwood struggled that for the first part of this first half. I mean, Saka every single time, they almost left him isolated 1v1, and he could go either way really with Saka, and that's one of these strengths, that he can go on his left and go on his right, and when he gets there, it's can he pick the right option. That one there, it kind of closes the space, but he was doing that for a lot first half. Right?
I think that he's done everything to Hinchelwood, even when Hinchelwood's got close, even when he's had people around him. In this instance, he plays it and goes again. He's lost him, and I think he should have done better with that chance. It's just, if he's tight, he'll go past him. If he drops off, he'll take him on. This situation, he hasn't got a lot of backup. In this case, Ødegaard coming, he passes it off. He's actually got him exactly where he wants him. He needs more cover. Hinchelwood, you look at this again, just a little nudge, he's in. Should have done better with a pass. I just feel that because of his inexperience, it's Saka, again, Arsenal said, just keep giving him it. Keep giving him it.
So who should be helping out?
Well, Mitoma.
Is it Mitoma?
Mitoma should be coming across. I think the left back, Belabor, someone should be coming across. One of the guys, the left-sided midfield, Mitoma as well. All of them, as soon as the ball is getting ready to be transferred across, they should be getting themselves in a position where they could help the left back.
With just the one goal in it, despite, Saka's joy down that right.
Exactly, and that's probably the only thing, if you're an Arsenal supporter or Arsenal player, you think we probably should be 2 or 3 up, but Brighton are still in it. One goal, all it takes. We saw Brighton have maybe a 5-10 minute spell where they did cause problems, but they've got to create that clear-cut opportunity.
I just wonder whether Fabian Hürzeler.
Well, it was Kai Havertz scoring again against Brighton for the Gunners that gave them the lead. But Peter, Arsenal before that created a really good opportunity for Martin Ødegaard through playing so direct.
Yeah, it was quite direct. Obviously, different to what you see from Arsenal. This might be a tactic, because they do play such a high line to counteract that. Ben White with a fantastic switch of play out to Trossard. Very rarely you see this from Arsenal. 2-3 touches and the ball's in their box. And I think Ødegaard should score. It's a fantastic ball from Trossard. I think maybe he could have gone with a diving header. And, I think that's why I'd have done anyway.
I certainly would have gone with my head in that situation. I wouldn't have trusted my weaker foot. But no, great movement. I mean, we talk about how do Arsenal have to be better than last year. So there's a little bit of variation. But it's ironic that the goal, from all this scientific football we talked about, two great coaches, it's just one big hoof up the middle, really.
Good old-fashioned play out there, Martin. You love it.
Nothing wrong with that. It kind of disrupted the picture, and then there's Havertz again, goalkeeper in no man's land. Of course, that's his normal position. Crouchy that he picks up. You can't really fault the keeper, but Dunk there.
I think Dunk could be seriously disappointed. I think you'll see that. I think he just doesn't expect the challenge at all. And in the moment Saka leans on him a little bit, you can see he's a little bit disorientated. But the combination between Saka and Havertz is an unbelievable combination. It was such a calm finish and a beautiful ball from Saka.
Yeah, look at that. This relationship is going to be absolutely legendary. What do you think of this putting on pitch relationship between the two of them, Martin?
Yeah, well, quite remarkable. Like this telepathic link-up between the two players. We know Havertz is intelligent. Saka, you've got to keep giving the ball to Saka, and whenever you give it him, he's caused problems here to Hinshelwood particularly. Arsenal need to do more of that, of course, in the second